and Sid Show.
Guaranteed to be enormously successful.
It's about truth, the damn truth, New York's truth, the truth behind the BS. For New York, nothing at all in between. This is Bernard McGurk.
Bernard McGurk.
Mr. Bernie.
This is Sid Rosenberg.
The one and only Sid.
Live, local, on it.
You never know what's going to happen.
Exclusively.
What is this?
77 WABC.
Now the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. What might be right for you may not be right for some. A man is born, he's a man of means. Then along come two. They got nothing but the genes, but they got different strokes it takes. Different strokes it takes. Different strokes to move the world.
Take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. The facts of life. There's a time you gotta go and show you grow, and now you know about the facts of life. The facts of life.
That smile again.
Show me that smile.
Don't waste another minute on your crying. We're nowhere near the end.
The best is ready to begin.
Oh, as long as we got each other, we got the world spinning right.
Well, there it is, our little tribute this morning. Actually, a really sad story when you learn the details of how this thing went down. 69-year-old Alan Thicke, a part of our childhood, all those shows you heard the theme songs for, Different Strokes, into Facts of Life, into Growing Pains. Of course, he played the father. He also wrote the original music for Wheel of Fortune. Alan Thicke passed away last night at the age of 69. A lot of our young audience know his son, Robin Thicke, who, of course, lost a lawsuit when he stole Marvin Gaye's song with his song that was incredibly popular, of course. And then
What's the name of that song?
That song was
Blurred Lines.
Blurred Lines. Yes. And then he had that beautiful wife, and he screwed that up. She left him because he was I guess he was doing his own thing. But anyway, Alan Thicke
he got a little full of himself.
Yeah, he did. Alan Thicke is gone at 69, and it's sad. But the way the way the whole thing went down was, I don't know if he was sick, Bernard, or what. By the way, back here on the Bernie and Sid show,
I can tell you he was a smoker. Like, for example, Robin Thicke is a chain
smoker, right?
And the father was as well.
Right, so maybe he had cancer because he smoked. Anyway, no, he was playing hockey with his kid. He's a very good hockey player. He's Canadian, obviously. And he was playing hockey with his kid, and he had a heart attack and just dropped on the ice.
You can make the case that that's actually a good way to go out.
Yeah,
instead of
course,
languishing 6 weeks in a hospital bed or something.
Well, for him, but for the kid who just,
it's tough.
Completely, he was on Fuller House last week. He was fine.
It sucks.
Yeah, terrible.
I didn't, by the way, watch any of those shows that the jingles you just played or whatever.
None of them.
Not one.
Growing Pains, Kirk Cameron, great show. Never watched it.
Not one.
Different Strokes, Dana Plato, Gary Coleman, Todd Bridges. No.
What you talking about, Willis?
There you go.
Yeah, I knew that, but I never watched
Facts of Life, Tootie?
You never watched Facts of Life?
Kim Fields
Edna
and
Garrett?
Jill Welchel?
No.
None of them.
I was out in the streets, yo.
I know. All you did was watch All in the Family. That was it. Otherwise, you were out in the streets.
I don't know what happened.
You missed so many things.
Growing Pains was a great show. I used to love Kirk Cameron until he got crazy.
No. He got crazy. He went nuts. And then his sister, who was in Full House, Candace Cameron, who married Valerie Bure, Pavel Bure's brother from the National Hockey League. She just actually quit The View last week. She's a big star. I like Growing Pains, but I like Family Ties more with Michael J. Fox.
Well, apparently Alan...
I love Family Ties, too.
Alan Thicke. Family Ties was good. I did watch that.
You did watch that?
Yeah, Michael J. Fox. That was a good show, funny show.
Great show. Justine Bateman was his sister.
Meredith Baxter Burney.
Yes, and Michael Gross, who also has passed away. Both dads have died now from those two shows.
Hey, when did he die? I didn't hear that one.
Michael Gross?
Yeah, I didn't hear that either.
A couple years ago.
Yeah, he's out.
Yeah, he's out.
Now listen.
Nobody does a tribute like us. He's out.
He's done.
Apparently, Alan Thicke was so proud of his son that he told Us Weekly that he and his girlfriend or his wife would listen to Robin's song Sex Therapy to get in the mood.
How about that?
Which Robin thought was a little creepy. He actually said, Dad, I heard what you said to Us Weekly. He tweeted, I need you to give back all my music immediately.
Hating Dr. Freud.
He actually tweeted something nice this morning. Best man that ever lived, my best friend, all that stuff from Robin. So
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's sad.
But you didn't watch the show, so you don't really care that much.
No, I remember Alan. You know, he had a great head of hair.
He did.
I always hated him for that reason.
Yes, he did.
He was too good looking, and he had a good head of hair.
And he was a Canadian with a tan.
Yes.
He was a tan too, like George, not George Hamilton, but he had a tan.
He's almost like who's the Irish guy that plays James Bond? What's his name?
Pierce Brosnan.
Sean Connery?
Pierce Brosnan.
Oh, Pierce
He was
Brosnan?
like a Pierce Brosnan, good-looking guy.
Or like a Michael Landon.
Another guy who's too good-looking. You know
Michael
what I mean?
Landon was very good looking.
Yeah, Little House on the Prairie was my favorite.
I love
growing
that
up.
show too. Tell me, you had to watch that? No, Little House on the Prairie.
Half Pint.
No.
Half Pint was Melissa Gilbert.
Yes.
Then you had to watch Michael Landon on Bonanza with Lorne Green. Are you American?
I must have.
Where did you grow up? Seriously.
I don't know.
You know, no wonder you love Trump. We're going to find out you grew up in Moscow. No wonder you love Rex Tillerson.
Here's the problem. My parents were Irish immigrants.
Okay.
And the normal things that a lot of people did,
Right.
we lived in the projects.
Right. They had TVs there.
I know, but it just didn't filter down to us somehow or other.
Did you watch the Flintstones?
Yes.
Okay. Did you watch
the Flintstones, the Jetsons?
Did you watch the Brady Bunch?
Yes, of course.
Did you watch
of
the
course.
Partridge Family?
Star Trek, the Partridge Family.
Odd Couple?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Monkeys.
Honeymooners? The Monkeys?
Yes.
Oh, so you're not completely.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I'm good. You know, but there were other things. I think I was maybe out. I was discharged from my house at 18 years old.
That's why. And you're a little older than me. So
Yes,
it's like
yes.
you didn't watch the Lamp Olympics on Saturday morning
No.
when like Huckleberry Hound would compete against Fred Flintstone in a 50 meter race.
Did not.
Or McGilla Gorilla against Great Babe. You wouldn't do that type of thing.
No. What was the cartoon with the big dog?
The Big Dog. Is that the one you mean? You mean
Scooby-Doo?
The Scooby-Doo.
Did not watch Scooby-Doo.
Because there was a claymation cartoon when I was a kid with a dog. His name was Davy. It was made by the Latter Church of the Christians. And it'd be like Davy. It was on 6 o'clock in the morning.
That I watched.
You remember that?
That I watched.
Yeah,
Time out. David and Goliath was the Catholic kids. You're Jewish. How did you watch David
I
and Goliath?
watched that because I was all coked. I was watching the Coked Up. I watched the New Zoo Review with Henrietta Hippo, and then I watched that damn show with Davy.
Hey, don't pick on Davy.
That was a weird show.
I used to come home at 6 in the morning from the underground. Those two shows were on. Then I watched Bob Barker walk up and down a flight of stairs.
That show scared me as a little kid.
How about American Bandstand?
Sure, Dick Clark.
And how about...
I watched that.
Solid
Barry Manilow
Gold.
started
Solid
it.
Gold.
What about the Black Show?
Soul Train.
Soul Train.
The great Don Cornelius.
So you go from American Bandstand
I watched it all.
to Soul Train.
Of course.
People...
I watched it all, bro.
Silver Spoons.
I watched that. You know who was on Silver Spoons?
Ricky Schroeder.
Very good.
That was my favorite too. Punky Brewster.
Watch that too.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Reminiscing.
Bernard didn't see
God.
any of that
I missed a lot of things.
He was gone in the 80s, I think.
I mean, it was.
You were working or high? Oh, you were in jail for a couple of years.
All
there
three.
was
Shouldn't talk about that.
There was in jail.
The Cavs didn't have TVs back then, so yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
A minor stint in the Marines.
Right.
Got booted out, and then it was hanging out with the hoods.
Then you went to law school, then medical school.
Well, that was before. That was after the prison.
Trained to be a
experience.
Navy SEAL.
Yeah, you did a lot.
Didn't quite do the.
Oh, no, you know, it's
Navy
funny.
SEAL
As Gunzelman today was interviewing just moments ago, another blockbuster piece, by the way, the writer of Forrest Gump, and the real life Forrest Gump is Bernard. He's done it all.
Everything right.
He's done it all. A track star, a football star, a Navy SEAL, went to law
I don't
school,
know,
medical
you're
school,
getting all that.
drove a cab.
I have an MBA from the Wharton School of Business, but that was a long time ago. That's why I know that. Like, for example, the stock market is kicking ass right now.
It is.
And
You know what sucks about the stock market kicking ass?
what's that?
I don't have any stocks. Do you have
Are you
money in the
serious?
market? No, I don't have any more.
I have a 401k.
I've got that too.
Well, then you should be happy with the stock market.
But I used to actually have stocks. I had them. I had a couple of blue chip stocks, and I don't have any more.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, unless you micromanage, a portfolio or whatever. Or
Do you
have
have
a
one?
broker. No, I have just a 401k.
Just a 401k.
Which, by the way, is significant. It's something you look at when the stock market
No,
goes
I know
down.
that. But would you think now about actually taking money, calling somebody at Potential or somewhere and getting a broker?
No,
you wouldn't do that.
I don't do that. That's being pretty active.
That's gambling, basically, for you. That's too risky.
What is the market but gambling?
It is. Right.
And you win, you lose. But right now, you're winners. But the 401k thing, if you have these conservative stocks, as you know, I mean, I'm not preaching to you anything you don't already know. You have conservative stocks in the long run. They just continue to grow.
Yeah.
But when the market slides, you see the 401k just stops. It actually diminishes.
Yeah.
Well, but right now it's doing very well.
Yeah, but that's why I'm excited to talk to Larry Kudlow. He's going to join us next hour, the great Larry Kudlow, because usually when the market sustains this type of success, and I'm by no means, by the way, savvy with the market, but I do know when it has success for quite some time, and the numbers now are close to 20,000, that eventually it does correct itself. And when it does that, how far will it fall then?
But it corrects itself and then goes back up. It has that sort of.
But if it corrects itself and it goes down a lot, then the slow climb.
We don't want another recession/depression, a la 2007.
Right.
No, but it's a natural corrections occur. Anyway, Kudlow will tell us about it.
He's a genius.
But it's all. It was supposed to go the other way if Trump got elected.
Wow, listen, every prediction about Donald Trump, and I'm as guilty as anybody because I laughed at the notion he would win, laughed at the notion. They've all been wrong. So to his credit, he has proven everybody wrong about all these things.
Making the stock market great again.
Yes, and making Moscow great again.
Yes.
Well, listen, if we can do
Moscow,
both.
Idaho or Moscow, Russia? Which one?
It's better than going to war with Moscow.
I don't disagree.
Right, which was
I don't disagree.
The other person wanted to do, apparently. Bill Gates yesterday actually compared Donald Trump to John F. Kennedy.
I heard that. You loved that, didn't you?
Come on. And Jim Brown said he met Trump yesterday. He said he fell in love with Trump.
Best running back in the history of the game right there.
I mean, it was a great day. Kanye West.
That's what you stop. Just stop. You were good at Jim Brown. Now you got to stop. And what's funny about did we even find out yet exactly what Kanye West and him talked about? We still don't know, right?
Yeah, we do actually.
Oh, we do know.
Yeah, we do. Well, in the meantime, play that Bill Gates clip, and I have.
That's a great clip.
I have exactly what Kanye talked about. Play that, please.
But in the same way that President Kennedy talked about the space mission and got the country behind that, I think that whether it's education or stopping epidemics, and in this energy space, there can be a very upbeat message that his administration is going to organize things, get rid of regulatory barriers, and have American leadership through innovation.
This guy's a Silicon Valley liberal dweeb, and he's talking in those terms about President-elect Trump right now. It's amazing. So, this is what Kanye tweeted yesterday. He, by the way, initiated the meeting.
A couple of weeks ago, right after Trump won the election, he said, I'm going to come down and talk to you. And Donald was like, come on down.
So he tweets, I wanted to meet with Donald Trump today to discuss multicultural issues. These issues included bullying, supporting teachers, modernizing curriculums, and violence in Chicago, which Trump constantly harped on during the campaign. And people were like, they were all indignant. Black people, everybody doesn't live in the hood, All of a sudden, everything's great. All of a sudden, when Trump starts focusing on the problem areas, which, by the way, Chicago, Obama's hometown, ignored completely. The place is still a mess. And Kanye had said he would run for president in 2020. But he tweeted out yesterday, #2024.
So he's going to allow Donald Trump to win one more term. That's very nice of Kanye.
Yo. This is either going to be the best thing that ever happened to this country or it's going to be a complete and total disaster.
I think Trump should stay away from Kanye.
But right now,
looking good.
Everything is looking great.
It really is.
But I missed to say that this morning, that you're either going to have America's going to be great again or it's going to be completely destroyed.
It is fantastic. And you had Trump yesterday just poised and confident, charismatic. He's got people, leaders around the world, kissing his ring, kissing his butt. It just seems like a good time. I hope it doesn't all go south.
Well, one of the things he did say about Rex Tillerson was, the Secretary of State, who still has to be confirmed, we've got issues there, but assuming he is that it's not just Putin who Tillerson is friends with. Trump's quote was that this guy knows and is friendly with a lot of the world leaders that don't like us. So maybe part of the madness is you get Tillerson in there to speak with some of these other world leaders who don't like us, and he fixes those relationships.
Yeah, and Reince Priebus said yesterday, the Trump's big aide, head of the RNC right now, since when is it a bad thing to have good relationships with people all of a sudden? Front page of the New York Times.
Well, with enemies, it's never, the idea is that's not supposed to happen, but if you can improve the relationship, how is that bad?
Right, exactly. Front page New York Times headline, as Exxon head, Tillerson put companies' needs over U.S. interests. Well, he's supposed to represent his country. I mean his company. Right. That's what he does. Right?
Well, that was going back to when the Crimea and the Ukraine, all the sanctions against Russia. And he was like, well, wait a second. Slow down here. We need to make some money with these guys. And that did piss off some people.
Like, what do we care about Crimea? You know what I'm saying? Right, Joe?
Crimea River.
There you go.
1-800-848-9222. Bernie and Sid back after this.
77.
Forget the guy who was saying for months there is no path to 270 for Donald Trump. But there was a path to 306.
Back here on the Bernie and Sid Show on 77 WABC. Donald Trump last night in Wisconsin. Thank you / victory.
When is this thing over? It's becoming gratuitous now.
He's got a
perverse.
He's got a few more, actually. I saw the schedule.
Yeah.
I know it cut into last night. We were supposed to do O'Reilly.
Yes, but it was good because, to Bill's credit, the great Bill O'Reilly, he did, in fact, go to a camera shot of you and Gutfeld, and so you guys did get screen time. He could have been a real dick about it and not even put you guys on the air.
That could have happened.
But he didn't do that.
All right. O'Reilly was cool, but I mean...
Very cool.
It's very funny. We should play it.
We'll play it. Play the audio. This is Bernie.
Is it Gutfeld and McGurk or Trump? Who should we go to?
Come on, people, vote.
All right, you guys are fired.
I'm offended.
Let's go out to Wisconsin.
Yeah, but they showed you two guys on the split screen with Donald Trump. It was actually very, very
good. But now
good.
he's hogging all the airtime, taking our time, So
Donald Trump?
So
the second week in a row he screwed you.
I have been triggered. I'm offended.
You are?
Yes.
If we were still in the primary season,
no.
This would be the type of thing that would make you want to vote for Hillary.
Never.
Look, look at the crowds that are showing up. So I think it's a good thing what he's doing. He's building morale.
Oh, please. The people that are showing up voted for him anyway.
Yeah.
They love him anyway.
And so he's waxing nostalgic about the campaign days.
He just nobody loves himself. It's just great. Listen,
everything's beautiful right now.
You need to calm down. Seriously.
Where New York comes to talk. 77 WABC.
Guess which theme song this is.
This is I know this.
Good Times.
No.
Nope.
By the way, that was a good show. It
was a great show.
I did not miss that.
That was Jimmy Walker. What is it?
Dynamite.
Do you give up?
Yeah.
This is the original Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, okay. So Alan Thicke wrote this too. There you go. I was talking to Bernie at the break before we get back to Donald Trump and all that.
No
good
wonder
stuff.
they replaced it.
Yeah,
with all due
sucks.
respect to the
It sucks. And coming up next hour, Larry Kudlow. I had asked Bernard. Alan Thicke, of course, was a very popular TV dad in the show Growing Pains. And, our favorite TV character probably of all time is Archie Bunker, the great Carol O'Connor. But do you think of Archie Bunker as a TV dad? He was a dad, and Meathead was his kid, but do you think of Archie as a TV dad?
No, Gloria was his kid.
Yeah.
Gloria, right. He was a brother-in-law, right.
A son-in-law.
Right.
No,
son-in-law.
I do not.
No, right?
No. I think more of along the lines of like Al Bundy.
TV dad.
Married with children.
Right.
Yes. He's my kind of TV dad.
Or Alan Thicke, or Michael Gross in Family Ties.
Or Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby. That's got to be the most famous one, no?
Right? He was in court yesterday, and he was getting patted down by the security, the court officers, whatever the hell you call them.
Yeah.
And he says to him, he cracked a joke. He said, "Don't tase me, bro."
He didn't say that.
He did.
Oh,
he did.
Wow.
He's blind now.
So he says.
But it's not for masturbation, I'll tell you that. Same result, just so you guys know. But
how do you know?
He may be the most famous TV dad, right?
No.
Yeah.
Really?
No, of course. He is. Dr. Huxtable, sure. In fact, they're going to put the TV show.
It's coming back on.
They're putting it back on.
It's already back on.
They're like the one shouldn't have, his personal life shouldn't have any reflection on the TV show and what it accomplished.
Sponsored by tranquilizers?
Which one?
Is it sponsored by tranquilizers?
So you did that?
I did.
Michael Landon, Little House on the Prairie, was a big
he's
guy,
my favorite.
but not bigger than Bill Cosby.
At one point, Bill Cosby, he was giving girls Quaaludes, and then he testified this week, and he said of one girl, he didn't give her Quaaludes, but he gave her Benadryl, so it wasn't
same thing. It knocks her out.
Wasn't as bad.
Right, knocks her out.
Why am I laughing?
Why are you laughing?
Not funny.
The hell's the matter with
amazing.
you? Jesus.
Looks like No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it.
Hey, you're not going to do it?
Listen.
Yeah.
This Bill de Blasio. First of all, last night we were talking about my appearance on Bill O'Reilly being preempted by Donald Trump, though, we had a little FaceTime there, whatever, just played the clip. But
which is cool.
The topic that we were going to talk about was this college professor at a college. She was telling the class that Donald Trump's election was an act of terrorism, et cetera, and that and she said that the leaders of this assault, these terrorists, are among us, implying that some of the kids in the class were terrorists, and some of your friends and neighbors, and it's a terrible thing.
Anybody who voted for him, basically. Is that what she was implying?
Yeah, that's what she was directly saying.
Right.
Directly saying that and implying that, yes, there were kids in the class, in that very class. So somebody taped her, and it's kind of inaudible, so otherwise I would play it. But her name, and this is the Gutfeld and I, we go for the joke. She teaches human sexuality. And then she's lecturing the kids on Trump's election, by the way.
All right.
So you talk about getting screwed. Anybody paying tuition to listen to this dingbat? Yeah. That's a human sexuality class in a circuitous way, I guess.
What school is it?
It's called the Orange. What the hell is it? It's Orange Coast College out in California.
Oh, of course, one of the great schools in the country today.
It is one of the great schools. It has like over 10,000 students. So.
Yeah.
I mean, but if you're paying tuition, they talked about Trump University and fraud. People who go to some of these colleges, and you got to listen to this crap from a human sexuality teacher.
Right.
And by the way, her name was ironically labeled Olga Perez Stable Cox.
No.
So you have Professor Unstable Cox teaching human sexuality. But you go to these classes and pay this money to listen to this crap. That's fraud. Somebody should sue these colleges.
No, but these kids like that, though. They're liberals to begin with. They want to hear that stuff. I think.
No. I think that some of them they're empty minds waiting to be molded. Other kids, some kids are they're politically active or engaged, and they have voted for Trump.
Did she make the kids do an oral final?
She did.
So anyway, yes, I've had this experience with my kids, teachers. They tailor their papers and their work and their comments in class to what the teacher wants to hear.
Oh, no. My daughter Ava, who's only 12 years old, by the way, has these ongoing in-class yelling, screaming arguments with her liberal social studies teacher.
Wow.
Explaining to him about immigration and how Hillary Clinton was going to allow in, a million people yelling and screaming.
And this is grammar school.
Grammar school.
And your beautiful daughter, Ava.
She kicks his ass.
Oh, God bless her.
She kicks his ass.
There is hope for this country.
Yes.
But George Carlin once said that the PC is the newest form of intolerance, especially because it comes disguised as tolerance. And that describes this lady to a T. Yeah. By the way, she offered coping skills to the student, which leads me to Bill, the big lazy-ass slob de Blasio.
Yeah.
Same thing. He sent out an email to city workers who are, quote, feeling distressed or vulnerable following the election results.
Yeah.
He said, we have seen the concerns expressed on social media, and we are monitoring them closely. And he said he pointed them to mental health resources available. Taxpayer dollars to pay for distressed city workers who are upset over the results of the election. Can you believe this?
My wife, my nana, Danielle.
You got bums masturbating on the subway.
He's worried about this. So Danielle's mother was killed when she was only 8 years old. It's tragedy. So her grandparents really raised her. So her nana is really my mother-in-law. She'll be 98 years old. God bless her.
Oh, wow.
So Danielle goes back to Florida once a month to see Nana because I moved her and the kids up here, obviously. And she's got a family member down there. It doesn't matter what her name is. So every time she goes to see Nana, she takes this family member with them for dinner. So they went for dinner Saturday night in Coral Springs in Florida. And as always, politics came up and there was a big fight at the table. And it turns out this relative of mine, Danielle's cousin, is going to the march. This all these Hillary Clinton supporters that are convinced that the world is, this is a very successful, bright lady, by the way, that the world is coming to an end. She's going to march with a bunch of losers in D.C.
On January 20th, on inauguration?
Yes. This is this is a professional woman who's traveling to march with a bunch of losers. And I voted for Hillary.
I remember thinking that of people who traveled down to listen to Glenn Beck give a speech on the mall down in D.C. I mean, on both sides, Who the hell gets on a bus on a Saturday
Stupid.
and
Makes
travels
no
to
sense.
D.C. for either one of the? Well, you're gonna march on Inauguration Day.
Yeah.
I mean, after a fair and square election.
Right. But
the way it
what
was.
what are you proving? What is the point? In other words, are you marching that day? What are you saying? We don't like the choice?
Yeah.
Are you saying they're not going to overturn it?
And by the way, it was the choice,
right?
According to the rules.
So what's the march about?
That's what I'm saying.
I always thought marches and these things, protests, were about injustices.
Listen,
March in Alabama is one thing 50 years ago, but when you're marching on Inauguration Day because you don't like the choice, you're a loser.
It's just the post-election collective nervous breakdown of the left. It's another manifestation of that.
It's what happens when you give trophies to everyone.
Well, that's true.
That's
I
right.
always hated that.
That's true.
Always hated that.
And so regarding this email that de Blasio sent out, this guy, the City Hall press secretary, Eric Phillips, he said, the post-election period has been anxiety-producing for many people, understandably. When you throw the holidays into that, it can be a very difficult time for those coping with mental health challenges.
Right.
What a bunch of pussies. Can you believe this?
Well, holidays do tend to make people depressed.
Oh,
that is true.
Come on, suck it
Not
up.
Not me, bud.
Not kids.
Yeah, but the election?
Not kids, but the election. It's enough with the election. It's enough
You got
already.
problems, that's fine. Look, you got a guy like Bryan Cranston who said he was a Hillary supporter. He said he'd moved to Canada.
Right.
But he gave an interview. Yeah, he was here yesterday, by the way.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a bit.
You tackled them by the elevator like Larry
wait a
Johnson
second.
and Jeff Van Gundy.
Hold on a second. Let's not get crazy. But this is what he's saying now. I mean, this guy's got his head screwed on right. He's not losing his mind. He's not. He's not sucking his thumb in a fetal position. This is what Bryan Cranston said.
He was not my candidate, but he is going to be my president, and I truly hope that he does an exceptionally good job. I really do, because if that is true, he has done well for the country, and that's much more important than who I personally wanted to be president.
They're all copying me. It's exactly what I said that very next morning from Washington, D.C. They're all coming around now a month later.
They are ripping you off.
I think they are. So what did happen? So here's Bryan Cranston. He's won 4 Emmy Awards for work on both Malcolm in the Middle and, of course, Breaking Bad. And I know you love that show. You love him, but you were upset with him during the election.
But I wasn't. I mean,
Well, you made fun of him.
It was a news story.
Right.
But,
so he was here yesterday on with Joan Hamburg, and the interview ended.
I don't hate him. Say like a guy like a venomous piece of garbage like Keith Olbermann,
right, or Al Sharpton. We hate them. Anyway, so what happened? So I know because Flirty is a stalker. Any celebrity on this floor
is a star effer. Absolutely
Star-effer.
Right. She's been banned. She was banned yesterday. Matt Meany banned her.
No, he did.
Yes, he did.
She absolutely stalks these people.
She throws the door open, and Cranston's behind the door, and he gets hit in the face with the door.
Yeah.
I'm like, can I get a picture? He's like, sure.
So what happened with you?
So anyway, Bruce, she was trying to get Bryan Cranston, trying to get you to take a picture with Bryan Cranston.
Which I was dying to do, because I admit that I'm a sniffer.
So I went out, and I'm like, that's one of my all-time favorite shows.
Right.
And I normally don't do this because I don't care about taking a picture with anybody.
That is true.
But Flirty's like, come on, let's take a picture.
Right.
And so then we don't. Somehow or other, she said, I already got mine. He's leaving. I said, well, what about my picture? She said, come on, let's go. He's down by the elevator. Let's go. I said, nah, that's all right. She said, come on.
So at that point, you broke into a Carl Lewis sprint, right? Basically.
I said, follow me.
I was like
OJ in a Hertz commercial.
Who's the kid from Jamaica?
Usain Bolt.
Usain Bolt. I pulled a Usain Bolt to the elevator.
And you got it.
And I took a picture with Bryan
so jealous. I was so mad at you. Because I had to do I don't want to say stupid because I love them, but I had to do a commercial.
Walter White, baby. Walter White.
Walter White.
The best show ever.
You know? And so, and you just heard his attitude. I mean, he's a nice guy.
That's good.
He's not. Good. Yeah. If he was some Joy Behar like B word,
then you take the picture down. Because right now the picture's on Facebook and Twitter. You and Flipper.
Yeah, that's good. That's fine with me. And and I'm glad. So I didn't know what he was going to say, and he said that yesterday.
So now you're happy.
Very happy.
Yeah.
Ecstatic, as a matter of fact. So everybody's coming around.
Not everybody.
By the way, you had Jim Brown. Jim Brown, he was a Hillary supporter, former football
greatest running back in the history of the game.
Listen to what he said about Donald Trump after meeting with him yesterday over at Trump Tower.
But I fell in love with him because he really talks about helping African American black people, and that's why I'm here. When he goes through what he went through to become the president, he got my admiration because no one gave him a chance. You know, they called him names. People that called him names when he won, he reached back and brought them along with him. He held no grudges.
I sense a major turnaround.
No, I don't
these
see it.
whiny creeps going down to Washington.
Yeah, but they're not coming around. Miley Cyrus is not coming around.
It's slow, but steady.
No, I don't see it.
There's an acceptance. However,
I still think the country is divided almost right down the middle.
Well, you know, it's killing those people who see how smooth the transition's going and that people are getting on board.
Well, but they say
rising.
it's not. They say that, we're selling out to the Russians.
Right, but they slowly, again, their ranks are diminishing, I think, and they're.
I'm going to disagree. I don't think the ranks are diminishing. I think that they were so divided that they're not coming around. But here's the difference. They've become irrelevant and sore losers because he won. So I think the numbers are the same, but it's almost like they're screaming in an empty forest, if that makes sense. No one's listening. Yeah. Nobody cares. So you'll have millions of people, Bernard, marching that day. Millions. Marching that day.
Yeah,
but who cares?
You know, it's a lot of these people, these college professors will give credit to kids. They'll say, "I'll give you 100 on the equivalent of 100 on a test if you go march."
Yeah.
And that explains what happens in these streets here. You see these marches originating from NYU.
Yeah.
That's what they do. Go down to Washington Square, and in lieu of the test, you'll get 100 if you go participate in that march. I'm sure that's happening.
Can we do that here? Can we get a...
Can we do that? Let's get the swab. 1-800-848-9222. Larry Kudlow, a Trump advisor during the campaign.
You know who's here right now?
No, who's here?
The Rockettes. Let's go get a picture.
Let's do it. Come on.
Let's go.
Play some commercials. We got to go, Fred.
77 WABC. Traffic exclusively.
Morning, sir.
77 WABC.
The deals are so bad, so disgraceful, that I actually think they're putting other countries ahead of our own. On trade, we are now... You people don't stop. So I used to say, when I used to hear this chant, let's just win on November 8th. But now we've won. Right? We've won. Big league. I'll tell you, tough people in Wisconsin, fellas.
Lock her up, lock her up, lock her up. That was a chant again yesterday. Donald Trump on his Thank You Victory Tour in Wisconsin. The fans out there, the revelers, yelling about Hillary Clinton, talking about trade deals.
I think they were just waxing nostalgic.
I think they were.
I don't think the mob really wants her head at this point, unless she committed some crimes.
Which she may have done.
She may have done.
But either way, it's we'll kind of pass that. It's more about the trade deals and moving forward and what Donald Trump is going to do and the stock market and the economy and all that stuff seems to be very exciting right now. A lot of optimism, and that's why our next guest is a perfect guest for today. He is, in fact, a star here at WABC, CNBC, everybody's favorite, including Gasparino, I should say, in today's New York Post. Larry Kudlow. Larry, welcome back to the Bernie and Sid Show. How are you, pal?
Hey, thank you very, very much. Appreciate it.
Gasparino, running about you today, seemed upset that Gary Cohn got that job with Donald Trump in that position and not you. Made the point that Cohn was a guy that backed the Clinton Foundation and really spit in the face of everything Donald Trump wants to do. And he did make the point that you would have been the perfect guy for that job. So how about that?
Well, it was a very interesting column by Charlie, and he's a great friend of mine. I can't comment. I don't really know Gary Cohn. I don't believe I've ever met him. And as far as the narrative Charlie outlined with respect to Obama and Clinton, I don't know that. Charlie's a great reporter, so I'm sure that's true, but I just don't know that. And I've had a lot of conversations with Mr. Trump and his top tier, and I'm kind of old school. I just don't like to talk about that.
No, that's fair. But did you want that? The director of Economic Council, did you want that? Is that something you wanted, or you'd be happy with just basically anything inside the Trump cabinet?
We will see. We will see. That's really.
He's not talking about it. It says Larry Kudlow is not. But I don't
like to talk about my own story. I'd rather talk about your story.
Let me toot your horn a little bit via this column from Charles Gasparino in the New York Post this morning. He says that you were you're a stark contrast to this guy Cohn. For the he calls you a free market evangelist, and that the optimism of the plans that you put forth inspired essentially the market to rise to 20,000, which it's near right now. That's what Charlie Gasparino says about you, Larry Kudlow.
Well, look, I always figured, I never understood the stock market until it finally turned, because I always figured that Trump's plans to slash taxes across the board, including small and large business tax rates, plus the rollback of costly regulations, would be a tremendous shot in the arm to the economy and to business profits and so forth. So I'm not surprised at the stock market's reaction. I guess I'm just surprised it took so long, but maybe, it took election night to prove that Mr. Trump is going to win. His policies are pro-growth. He's got the biggest tax cuts since Ronald Reagan, and actually, he's in the same tradition. I wrote a book just recently called JFK and the Reagan Revolution, where I point out that JFK was actually the first supply-side tax cutter, and that Reagan followed in his footsteps 20 years ago. And I think Trump is following in JFK and Reagan's footsteps, and it's very pro-growth, and the economy is going to come alive. And I think that's the message of the stock market.
Well, then, if you don't mind, Larry, for the people who are not as market savvy as you are out there, take us back to the detractors, the folks that said when Donald Trump takes over, this thing's going to crash, another recession is going to come our way. Well, what was the basis of that opinion?
I just think it was, you have some never Trump people, and you had all these left-wing Democrats backing Hillary. And I just think those were random attacks against Donald Trump. Nothing to do with his policies. In fact, they never hardly even mentioned his policies, mostly because Hillary Clinton didn't have any economic policies. I mean, her policy was tax the rich. What is that? No growth there. I thought America liked to reward success rather than punish it. Remember life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? Remember that? That was, by the way, the Declaration of Independence. I've been around so long, I was actually there. I was the messenger during that period.
Right.
So I just thought those were random attacks at Trump for no good reason at all. They never focused on his issues. He talked about it. They didn't listen. I did help craft that, and I'm proud of it, and I think Trump's going to be a great president. So that's what stocks are telling you right now. And, I would say to investors, frankly, stay with it. I mean, you're going to have corrections. There's no question about that. Stocks don't go up in a straight line forever. But I think if Mr. Trump gets his policies implemented, and he's obviously going to have a very favorable Congress to work with, these tax cuts and regulatory rollbacks could give us 4 or even 5% economic growth, for 4 or 5 years, and then level off at 3 or 3.5. So if you own an exchange-traded fund, if you own S&P indexes, okay, stay in them.
Right.
Stay in them. Ride. There'll be a correction, but don't get cold feet. Just stay with it, because we're entering a brand-new period of economic growth, which we haven't really had in 16 years.
Explain to the listeners, too, why on top of the tax cuts, one of the reasons why the market is doing well, people have confidence, why infrastructure plays a major role in this, too.
Well, I think infrastructure will be very helpful. You got to be careful on infrastructure, because you need some reforms. I mean, a lot of these infrastructure bills wind up being pork barrel bills, for various Democratic labor union supporters across the country. On the other hand, Trump will not allow that, because he's a very cost-conscious guy, being in the construction business, for heaven's sakes. And let's not have the prevailing wage. Let's not dictate work hours. Let's not dictate minimum wages, for example. Let's do this efficiently. Let the states and localities do it. And by the by, most of this stuff can be done by the private sector companies themselves, particularly in energy, okay? We need west to east pipelines. We need the Keystone Pipeline. We need the North Dakota Pipeline. We need to get the oil and natural gas to the East Coast, so heating prices come down, gasoline prices come down, and so forth and so on. Now, that's my kind of infrastructure. So I think there'll be a combination of both, but you just have to be very cost-conscious here. That's the key. And let the private sector do most of it. Most of these companies want to do it themselves.
Going back to being bearish on the stock market, Larry Kudlow.
Wait, not me.
No, but I mean, before Trump was elected, those people predicting doom and gloom, the critics, they did cite Trump's, what they would call his protectionist proclivities, saying that the tariffs, et cetera, would lead to rising prices. And Trump still is he says he's going to engage in some protectionism. He's going to impose tariffs. I mean, could that potentially damage the market and the economy in general?
Well, look, my reading of Mr. Trump is that he sees big flaws, really anti-American flaws, in a lot of these trading deals. And I happen to agree with that. I think the route he's going to take is going to be to redraw these deals, okay, and act in the interest of the American economy and the American workforce. And I think he has a point. You've got tax issues, NAFTA, you've got like world government, international courts presiding over some of these deals like the Pacific trading deal. That stuff's got to be changed. I think he intends to change it, and I think that's a constructive way of going about it. So we should trade. He himself regards himself as a free trader, but a fair trader. And these deals have to be done as such that they are in American interest. Now, one last point on this real quick. I'm hoping that one of the first things he does is start up a great free trade agreement with Britain. All right, because Trump was for Brexit. I was for Brexit. I call it Magna Carta 2.0, British independence. And I think it would be a terrific signal that he is for trade, negotiate with Britain. They are cousins. Their law, our law stems from their law. We have private property rights. And I'd go for that.
Yep.
I think that'd be a very positive thing.
All right, Gary Cohn, by the way, not for Brexit. I hate to keep bringing him up. Anyway, Larry Kudlow, our good friend, the great Larry Kudlow. Hey,
I'm being as humble and low-key as I
no,
can.
you're doing great. It's our job. It's me and Bernie's job to take shots at the other guy. Hey, tell me this. What do you think of the appointment of Linda McMahon, small business?
I love it. I just love it, okay? She is a great pal of mine. She and I talked about this SBA story. She's going to do a couple things there that are going to be so helpful. Number one, she is going to cut costs and staff throughout that agency because it's overbloated. It has been for many years. Nobody knows what the hell these bureaucrats do. Secondly, SBA can be helpful in terms of dispersing funds as long as it's monitored very carefully for the little companies that get the money. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. Now, I am not a big supporter of government subsidies, okay, but there can be sort of an SBA bank to get some of these firms off their feet. And I think that's what Linda wants to do. Obviously, she and her husband started a very small company, which has become a very large company, the WWE, and I think they know what they're doing. So it's not a forever job. It's not going to be just handing out money. It's going to be carefully monitored. But I say, absolutely well done, Linda McMahon.
Larry Kudlow, economic analyst, conservative commentator, Trump advisor, and WABC radio star. Larry, listen, front page of the New York, the New York Times, yes. As Exxon head, Rex W. Tillerson put companies' needs over U.S. interests. Isn't that what a CEO of a company is supposed to do, is put their company's needs over anybody's interest?
Well, yeah. I mean, he's running the largest, I don't know, is it the largest or one of the largest companies in the world? I mean, ExxonMobil is larger than most countries, isn't it? I mean, Look, if this guy, I have met Mr. Tillerson at various business roundtable events that I moderate sometimes. He is just first rate. And he knows more people around the world, heads of state and so forth. He's been negotiating with them for years on behalf of the ExxonMobil shareholders. That's what he's supposed to do. Now, the point here is he will negotiate for the United States of America just as tough as he negotiated for Exxon, right? The USA now becomes his principal client, and you can bet that he will be just as tough as nails when he does so. All this ankle-biting and nitpicking about Tillerson is really aimed at Donald Trump. That's what this is all about. And you know why? You know why? Because the left-wing Democratic Party, first of all, doesn't like capitalism. Second of all, they have no foreign policy. They want to attack anything Trump says all the time. And incidentally, all these experts have come out for Tillerson. Donald Rumsfeld, Robert Gates, Condoleezza Rice, they know something about international diplomacy. I think it's an inspired choice. I really do, and I'm 100% in favor of it. So
you're saying that
they're attacking Trump.
No, they are attacking Trump. They are. But for the folks that are attacking him, we know what their motivation is. You're right. There are sore losers who are attacking Trump. But is there anything to the fear that between Tillerson, even Manafort, gone not that long ago, and other folks in and around Donald Trump, this love affair, these relationships with Russia, is there anything to that in fact we should not be so happy about here?
Well, look, it's not a love affair. It's just.
Well, listen, Tillerson and Putin were friends.
It's not a love affair. I mean, you're thinking he's like Sumner Redstone or something. Okay, believe me.
That's funny.
That's funny. Sorry, I shouldn't.
No, that's funny. But listen, Tillerson and Putin, it was beyond a business relationship. I mean, the guy gave him a friendship award. They were buddies.
First of all, it's not a mortal sin to make a tough deal with Russia in America's interests.
Okay.
It's not a mortal sin. Now, we will have to judge. I understand the point. We will have to judge it as it goes along. But here, too, Trump was so misunderstood during the campaign. What he is trying to say is, we, the U.S., would rather not go to war, having all these wars, almost none of which turned out well for us. And therefore, if a negotiated treaty is possible, then Trump would go for it. If you walk away, if it's not good and it's not possible, Trump himself has said he will walk away from the table. And he will instruct Mr. Tillerson to do likewise. You know, there's an old story here. It's a great story. Just give me 20 seconds here. When George Shultz was Secretary of State for Reagan, Shultz probably the best Secretary of State we've had in 100 years in this country, Shultz would bring in new ambassadors. You know, they're going off to some godforsaken country. And he'd say to the ambassador, what is your primary point of interest here? And the ambassador would point to their new country. And Shultz would take him over to his little globe in the corner of his office, and he would point to the United States. And he would say, this is your primary interest.
Yes.
I believe
Tillerson
will act accordingly.
Absolutely. Great story. And finally, Larry, I believe part of the optimism with the stock market is also that we now, with the election of Donald Trump, we can exploit our vast natural resources, gas, oil, coal, going to lift all these stupid suicidal regulations and become energy independent, a pro-America energy policy. I think that explains a lot.
It's a key point. By the way, it's a key point for the economy. It's a key point for consumers. They'll get lower prices. It's a key point for manufacturing. It's a key point for the infrastructure we talked about. The pipelines have to be put in. It's a very big deal. Trump has said this from day one. He's not opposed, you know, if you guys want to have a little wind thing in your office, you know, where you can turn on
go for it.
The wind will come flowing out and will heat you or cool you or whatever.
Get your solar panels.
Right. If you want to put solar panels, although I work in that studio, I wish you wouldn't. But if you want to put solar panels in there, I'm cool with that. But do not subsidize them with taxpayer dollars. The Energy Department is not a hedge fund, okay, which is the way Obama played it. The Energy Department is supposed to increase America's energy in the long run. Trump's been great on that, and he's been great really right through. And, of course, the enviros who populate the Democratic Party. I mean, Bernie knows these people very well. He has a lot of Democratic friends out there.
Big time. We smoke pot together.
And the enviros don't want any of this to happen. So, of course, they're attacking it. And my pal Rick Perry, Governor Rick Perry of Texas, longtime friend of mine, is going to do a great job as the Energy Secretary because he knows exactly how to do it. And I just have to finish. You guys are great with me. You got to tell me what to do. You guys are going to, what, you're going to take off and have these 3-month vacations, and I'm hitting for you in a couple of Mondays. I don't know what to do.
Oh, is that right? You're filling in for us?
Jill's got to tell me something. How do I do this?
Oh, you're going to be great.
It's not possible to replace you.
Can you say the word ass?
Yeah, you got to curse. You got to curse a little bit.
You got to talk like that.
Right. And by the way, now that you brought up some of the Redstone.
Talk about shaving your private parts.
I do that so you know, Larry, every Thursday at 3:30 I shave my privates.
This is what the kids call TMI.
Poor Larry Kudlow, let me just apologize right now. Look, a dignified guy like Larry Kudlow, And listen, thanks for appearing.
We love you.
And explaining things to us dummies here. We appreciate it, Larry Kudlow, and wish you well. Hope you get a job with the Trump administration, actually.
Thank you. I love it. Thanks for having me.
You did, as always, Larry, great job.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Such a great guest.
Nice guy,
And
huh?
great guy.
I can't believe Sid just did
Yes.
that.
Yeah, Larry, I shave my balls every Thursday. What do you think about that?
Hey, oh, hey. Bernie and Sid, 1-800-848-922. Back after this.
77 WABC. Traffic and Transit.
Reports of an accident in Hempstead on the Southern State Parkway eastbound at the Meadow.
On demand.
You never know what's going to happen.
WABC radio app. Download it now. Upload the BS. 77 WABC.
Speaker Paul Ryan. Where's the Speaker? Where is he? He has been, I'll tell you, he has been terrific. And you know, honestly, he's like a fine wine. Every day goes by, I get to appreciate his genius more and more. Now, if he ever goes against me, I'm not going to say that, okay?
Yeah. Back here on the Bernie and Sid show, Sydney.
As long as you like me, I like you, Donald Trump, which is fine. I'm kind of like that myself. By the way, Larry Kudlow was terrific. He'll be, as he said, filling in for us a couple of times because we'll be off for Christmas and New Year's. But tomorrow, live in studio, very funny guy and a very astute guy when it comes to politics, John O'Hurley from Seinfeld.
Love this guy, O'Hurley. He does the Westminster Dog Show.
Yes, he does.
In fact, I watch it every year. This past Thanksgiving, I think there was one.
You know, I never watched it until I came on the Imus show because of Charles McCord. McCord got me into the damn show.
O'Hurley got me into the.
Is that right?
I like the dogs, of course.
Right.
But just listen to that guy's voice.
He's got a
of
great
course,
voice.
He was on Seinfeld. He was
Peterman. Right, the boss?
He was great.
Yeah. He'll be in tomorrow, then we'll have Gilbert Gottfried in studio next week, and we've got a bunch of really good guests stopping by.
You know, Flirty got a tweet about Kudlow.
It's very funny. Ace Ellis tweeted us, "Hey, Jill, what do Bernie and Sid do while Kudlow rambles on?"
We sit here and we rub our chins like we're pondering.
Like you understand.
We're cogitating and ruminating over the things he said. No, we listen to him. We're not stupid. He's not rambling on. He was giving a good explanation.
There are guests. This is just for me. I'm not going to speak on behalf of Bernard. But for me, there are guests that we bring on that are entertaining or that we kind of go back and forth. I will admit that when it comes to the economy, the market, taxes, I'm not incredibly savvy when it comes to that stuff. So I look forward to Larry coming on because I'll ask him a question and I'll say, for the listeners out there, who am I kidding? It's for me. So Larry answers the question, and guess what? Now I know what's going on.
I like him because he affirms what I already think.
He does.
Yes.
You're both Trump guys, and you both like the same things.
I still don't understand a word he said.
Hey, but speaking of which, okay, so let's move on from the economy to the Russians rigged the election. Are we pretty much over with the Electoral College meets on Monday and they vote.
The 19th, yeah.
And some people are saying that this might affect that. It's a long shot, but are we over this?
Because I am.
Why didn't they, if they were so worried about the Russians hacking, why all of a sudden now is the investigation? Why didn't they do the investigation back in September? And why didn't they protect us from it to begin with?
Because they didn't realize back then, when they talked about the election being rigged, Hillary, that it was going to be rigged in favor of Donald Trump by the Russians. Let's be honest for a second.
But why? But again, if the Russians are hacking us, so who cares what the result is?
Well,
I mean, stop them from hacking us.
Well, listen.
And investigate it then.
Fine. And like you said, and don't be upset about emails that get released by the Russians because if you don't cheat in the first place. But that's all. That sounds very nice. But the truth is that reports were, I know you said this is not true yesterday. I don't know where you heard that because I heard it was true, that the Russians did in fact, get DNC stuff and RNC stuff, but only released the DNC stuff in an effort to help out Donald Trump.
Okay, I'll tell you.
Well, that's not cool.
I'll tell you where I got it was the RNC head.
Oh, that's no good. Reince Priebus says you can't trust him. Give me a break.
He runs the Republican.
I don't care what he runs.
And Peter King says. Peter King also said that the RNC was not hacked.
Right. Okay. Great. Well, I heard they were.
But anyway, so the.
But I heard they were by MSNBC, of course, on the other side.
The election was rigged. But listen to Obama from last October, as a matter of fact, talking about a rigged election.
The larger point that I want to emphasize here is that There is no serious person out there who would suggest somehow that you could even rig America's elections. And so I'd advise Mr. Trump to stop whining and go try to make his case to get votes.
Funny. How about taking your own advice?
Funny. Wow.
All of us, the stuff comes back
Hillary
to haunt
said the
them,
same
right?
thing. Hillary said the same thing.
Hillary said it was appalling.
Right.
Appalling, she said. Well, listen, rigged or not rigged or hacked or this
it's
and that.
Over. It's over.
Yeah, if you don't cheat to begin with, for the debates, there's nothing to be embarrassed about.
Right.
Don't cheat. They cheated. They got caught.
But maybe the RNC cheated too. Maybe Trump cheated too.
It's possible.
He won, so it's fine. I mean, if you cheat, you win.
I doubt if CNN would be helping Trump out in any debate situation.
That I agree.
Just something.
Right. That's probably not going to happen.
I don't think Fox would either. But anyway, the fact of the matter is, they were stone cold busted cheating.
They were. Yeah, no, they were.
It was very embarrassing, and it may have affected some people's view of them. Who knows?
See, you can't quantify these things, whether Comey or the emails or the hacking, or you can never really quantify it. But there was so much out there against her that it was an avalanche. It was an avalanche.
Donald Trump, he means what he says what he means, and it seems like he's going to follow through on the things. Well, time will tell. We don't know yet. But listen to Chris Matthews. Sort of wringing his hands over the fact that Trump is going to keep a promise, in this case, moving the capital of Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Just listen to Chris Matthews' word. Just kind of take a listen.
Why are we moving the embassy to Jerusalem at a time that the whole place over there could blow up? Why do we do something that's right in the face of the Palestinians, right in the face of the Jordanians, the Saudis, the Egyptians? You say you're going to do it to pander a little bit. Fine, that's politics. But you don't actually do it. Doesn't Trump know this?
That's what's... on so many levels, there's so many things wrong with what he just said. I mean, first of all,
it belongs to Jerusalem.
It's their capital. That's A.
And it belongs there.
Exactly right.
Right.
And B, there's a new guy in town. He's not a typical politician.
Right.
If he said he's going to do it, chances are he's going to do it.
Well, we don't know. On similar terms, Bernie Sanders was on with Seth Meyers last night. And a lot like Chris Matthews, he said, listen, I'll give Trump credit. He said things that needed to be heard by the American public, but he did follow that up with, now I don't think he was sincere, and I don't think he's going to do it, but he did say things that Americans wanted to hear.
He essentially said time will tell if he was sincere.
No, he said, I don't think he was sincere.
I saw it and I heard, right, he doesn't think, but he might have been. In other words, he left wiggle room.
He did leave wiggle room, but he made it clear that he thinks that Trump's a phony.
And what he said was, he said that the too much political correctness out there. Believe it or not, Bernie Sanders said that. And by the way, seeing as how you bring Bernie Sanders up, he's the guy that wanted to put language in the Democratic platform to boycott, to support the position of the boycott is Israel people.
I know.
Bernie Sanders.
I didn't like him, though. I told you that the whole Israel conversation with Hillary, I couldn't stand it, that debate in Brooklyn. I couldn't stand it. He also wants to sit down with the Palestinians, and oh, my God, Bernie, shut up.
I just love Chris. Why is he going to do what he said he was going to do? I mean, that to me is just, it's funny. It's funny. Listen,
give him the time.
This is one for Flirty Flipper. She loves this topic.
What is it?
This actress Hillary Duff.
Yeah.
My daughter grew up with this girl.
Yeah, she's a cute kid.
What was the name?
Lizzie McGuire.
Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah.
Lizzie McGuire. I watched many episodes myself with my daughter.
Right.
Anyway, she's married.
Without your daughter too. That's the alarming part.
And I still do.
Yeah.
Actually, she's morphed into a very attractive young woman. I can't believe I'm saying this because I used to watch her as a kid.
Isn't it weird though when that happens? It is creepy, but you're not being creepy, right? Like if you say, for example, Selena Gomez is a pretty girl. It's creepy. Or Zendaya because they were on Disney.
I would say with Selena Gomez, she still looks like she's 14. So
so it's still creepy.
That would be creepy. But Hillary Duff looks like a 30-year-old.
So that it's okay.
Yes.
What about Britney Spears when she first hit the stage at the Super Bowl with Aerosmith, fresh out of the Mickey Mouse Club with Justin Timberlake?
You know, it's creepy. It took a couple of years to sort of get used to it, and she became a very dirty girl.
Oh, filthy! Oh my God!
Her and Christina Aguilera.
I still remember
Genie in a Bottle.
That's right, in the back seat of the limo with her vagina showing. Remember that?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
It was her, Paris Hilton, I think,
Yes.
and
she's to me, she's just I don't know. She's
just
like a
animal.
dirty.
Just a filthy animal.
She's a mommy
She
now.
doesn't. She strikes me as the kind of chick who doesn't shower for like
Right, that's her.
3 or 4 days
Stinky,
at a time. You know.
Right. Well, she did that the reality show with her former husband Federico David, whatever his name was, and they used to like fart in the house.
Yeah, that makes me sick.
come on.
Right,
Trash.
I'm with you.
There you go, yeah.
So Hillary Duff is not that. Hillary Duff is a classy young
She
chick.
never farted once her whole life.
Will you shut up? I'm begging you. So she's got a 4-year-old son.
Right.
And apparently somebody took a picture or a video of her kissing her 4-year-old son on the lips. And she got hell for it. She got hell for it all over Twitter. And so she actually responded. She says, what did she say here? She said that it was appropriate for her to kiss her 4-year-old son. For everybody to shut up.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No.
Here we go. For anyone commenting that a kiss on the lips with my 4-year-old is inappropriate, go ahead and click a quick unfollow with your warped minds and judgments.
Good for her.
She's absolutely 100% correct. You can't kiss your 4-year-old son on the... Who's the sick one here? The person who's thinking there's something wrong with it.
Yeah.
That's the sick bastard.
Well,
out
my
there.
grandmother doesn't like that either. She's like, don't kiss your kid on the lips. Kiss him on the chin. I'm like, well, I don't get it. My son... Still kiss him on the lips, to be honest. He's 8 years old. I don't even think twice about it.
Listen, I kissed my son on the lips until he got to be a certain age.
What age was that?
It was 21.
Right.
And
no, it's a bit older. Right.
And actually, like you, it was somewhere around 9, 10, whatever the hell.
Let me ask you an honest question, okay? I want your honest answer.
But I still now. Like, I won't kiss my daughter on the lips.
No. Me either with Ava. She's 12. That's way past that. But I will ask you this. My son is 8, okay? And I still shower him. You know, somebody's got to wash his balls in his ass.
No, you
so,
get out of here.
Or self-reliance. Come on.
Is that too old? Is 8 too old?
Yes.
What is the age of where you stop?
When they can do you can rub soap on your own.
I shower with my 6-year-old daughter.
You do?
I do.
Okay. Well, that's okay.
Okay,
6-year-old
7.
and you're 2 women.
Okay. Oh, but it can't be 2 guys.
You can't. No. You.
Why not?
7 years old and you're washing his.
No, he's 8.
He's 8 now. It's too
No,
old.
you got to stop, man.
We got to stop. Okay.
There's something wrong here.
Yeah.
Does he ever say stuff to you like, Daddy, it's Thursday?
No, but he complained to his mom that he hates to shower with me because he doesn't want to see because I have hair by my butt. And he thinks it's gross.
Is that why you shave? So you can look?
Yeah. So we can look alike.
Why does this conversation always...
He's like, Daddy, the soap rolls down the hair on his butt, and it's gross. This is the conversation going on in the house. I got my daughter yelling and screaming about immigration and Donald Trump, and my son is yelling and screaming about the soap coming down the butt of my ass.
I'm becoming as traumatized as your poor son listening to this. Bernie and Sid back after this. All right, Sydney. We got John O'Hurley tomorrow from Seinfeld fame, Westminster Dog Show fame. Curtis and Kubi going to come up